Tony, we got Instant Classic on here on NFL Network. We're checking out Jags Titans from yesterday.
Okay, well, listen, you can mock, you can laugh, you can joke. For me,
yes.
Anytime you beat the Titans, it's
yes.
a good thing.
There's some truth to that.
I don't care how you do it. I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you beat the Titans, it's a good thing. I hate
There's probably a lot of talk on the plane if that makes up for last year's game.
It doesn't make up for missing the playoffs last year. It doesn't make up anything. It's a win against a division rival, and I'll take it.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough. You know what it leaves with, Tony? In all seriousness.
This isn't a beauty contest.
I don't know what to talk about.
This isn't the old BCS where you get style
fair.
points.
Well, I don't know what to talk about, Tony. It's the first Jaguar game where, I don't know what. What are we building off of here? Jarian Jones? He had a pretty good game. Well, and I'm not even being I'm not trying to be.
Maybe force-feeding Brian Thomas Jr.
Maybe a little bit more.
Hey, listen, we're going to give him the football. I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
And then he kind of got into a flow, and he had the big play of the game, a 31-yarder.
I thought I guess the left tackle, because I never heard much about him, must have played, or right tackle must have played pretty well.
I thought he played okay, yeah.
Tony would know better than us.
Van Lanen did a good job.
That's good.
Tony, why is it? Why?
He did a good job coming in. Last minute. Obviously, Anton woke up sick.
Oh,
ouchie,
ouchie, boo boo.
No, it was legitimate. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I know
could have worn the black pants, Tony.
I know you guys are very cynical right now. It's fair. It's not been the year that anyone wanted.
I hear you.
It's been miserable, but the bottom line is they beat the Titans.
Yes, they did. If we keep going, we could get Tom Brady WEEI moment where Tony says, "I'm not dealing with you two slappies." Whack!
Yeah,
and hangs up.
That'd be fair. Wouldn't be the first either.
Yeah.
We're close.
Tony, I want to ask you about the offensive line. In all honesty, it seems like, help me understand this now. It seems like, and forget Anton, Cole Van Lanen, it seems like they have pass blocked pretty well this year. Like B blocking. But they can't. They don't run block very well. How do we and we're going to have a lot of these same guys next year. How do we fix that part? Is it fixable? Can we get better? Or is it the running backs? We don't have a ground game, my man. So, but yet these guys have done. They're not the problem. They're not the biggest problem this year, in my opinion. Help me understand your thought on the offensive line.
Yeah, because the offense is worse, but the line has been better. Now, granted, we've had some personnel, but we did last year too.
Yeah. Or am I wrong? I might be wrong. Help me.
No, I think the pass blocking's gotten better throughout the year.
Okay.
Without a doubt. And I think yesterday was good. That's a pretty good front for the Titans, and two really good defensive tackles. I'm not saying great defensive ends, but above average, good NFL defensive ends can get after you. And I thought they did a good job giving Mac Jones time yesterday. As far as the run blocking and next year and all that stuff, I think it's what is it? I'm a little bit at a loss for words because it's not one thing. I think you had to look at the whole thing. I think you do have a center and guard who are 10-year guys up there.
All right.
We're not the biggest offensive line as far as big, powerful.
Right.
But we at the same time, we have some guys who can, pull, do different things. So I just got to think. You got to look at the whole thing and kind of determine how you want to play, and what style of run. Are you going to be a big, gap team, duo, team that run downhill? Are you going to be an inside-out zone team? I think getting that identity of what you want to be, and kind of developing that. And developing those guys and making sure you have the right people to do that. So I think you have to look at the whole thing. It's not one thing up front. I do think they've done a better job in protection this year, especially as of late. I thought the last 2 weeks were great and, really helped, especially I thought you had to get in a situation where you help Mac Jones be comfortable back there. Because I think those first 2 starts, he was not comfortable, a little bit erratic, uncomfortable in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, last week against the Texans and then coming into this game, I thought they did a really nice job of making sure he was comfortable back there.
Tony, if 4 NFL teams run the exact same play, the exact same running play, off tack, whatever it might be, do all four teams by design block it the same? Or is that where, I guess my question is it a playbook or is it offensive line coach?
I think I think probably to like the average fan's eye, they all look pretty close. But I think there's nuances to technique, ability, size, power, formation. I think,
and that can be dependent on the kind of offense your coach is running, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I also think it's the fear that team has also the pass game. So if you can get a team that plays a lot of too high safety, so you don't have that extra guy in the box, that's going to help you run the ball because you have one less guy down there to deal with, to account for. So I think it's a lot of things. And I think, listen, to talk about the offensive line, we got to run the ball better. There's no doubt about it. I thought as the game went on, it got better. Now that's a tough group to run against. It's a tough group to run against because they got Simmons and Sweat inside. Those are 2 really good big players, difficult to run against. And I did think they got better. I thought Bigsby got it going a little bit late. I mean, he's really. I you know how I feel about Bigsby, and
he runs hard.
I'd like to see him get more carries because I do think he's a physical back that gets better as the game goes on. But I think listen. You're 3-10.
Right.
Not a lot's gone right. You need to let's get through these 4 games, and go play and see what happens. And who knows? And then I think the big thing is you got to evaluate. Then we wait and see what the Shad. What's the direction, where we're going. But you got to evaluate the whole thing, everything you're doing on offense and defense, because it's just not good enough this year. And that's that's obvious. I mean, one of the defense did a good job yesterday.
Yes.
Now, Titans are not very good offensively. Will Levis is,
Your boy Pete's wrong on that one, dude. You got to.
We've had that conversation.
Have you?
We've had that conversation on the air.
I mean, man, oh man, that did not look good yesterday. Oof.
Yeah, we are fortunate because he, missed some just easy throws.
Yes.
That's fine. You'll take it. So you got to evaluate the whole thing. You got to evaluate both sides of the ball, and so right now it's like, hey, let's finish the right way. Let's develop guys. Let's see what we got. Play hard, and then I think obviously at the end of the year, Shad will make an evaluation, do whatever he feels is the right thing to do, and then you got to go find a way to get better.
Tony, I have what might be difficult question as we kind of come down the home stretch. I can't help but start thinking about reconfiguring this offseason and what you hold on to, what you use as anchors, what you don't. So if you could just tell me, please, what's the strength of this defense?
I mean, the strength of the defense are two ends.
2 ends. It continues to be that. Yeah. How much? And so it's what's inside of those 2 is why things haven't opened up, why we haven't had the kind of production we did a year ago.
Well, I mean, yeah. I
know it's not easy to beat your guy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying if you look at the
we don't get a lot of push on the interior.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple times yesterday. I thought Josh and Trayvon had some really nice rushes, and there's not a lot of interior pressure.
Right.
Because
that's a great point. Because we do get caught up in stats, but there have been so many times where one of those jokers will get an arm on a guy. They're around it. There's never that second wave, to kind of crash under.
If you're getting any kind of pressure, those guys can clean up and
against us, guys can step up and scoot out of the pocket and continue a play.
Now, did I see wrong, or did Cisco get benched yesterday? Not start? Am I right on that?
I didn't know.
You didn't know? It looked like Antonio
I didn't notice that. It's hard for me to say
Okay.
Because they rotate.
I mean, he
guys
still
so
plays
Depends on the package or
They
whatever.
still play, and I don't know the rotation and such.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't either. I've never seen. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
right.
I've never seen a defense that subs people the way we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
saw this-
typically
I
your linebackers play every snap, and your safeties
Yeah.
play every snap.
Crazy.
And your
I saw the
corners-
snap
and your
count
corners play
yesterday.
every snap.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you stand? I mean, look, I'm all for it at this point. I know we're all just trying to get to the finish line. What was the feel like before the game yesterday? Because Brent was up there and he said it kind of had to feel like it's the last game of the year, even though it wasn't. There's a long way to go, but it was like it's kind of a weird two teams, headed nowhere.
Yeah.
What was that? Did you get that feel too, Tone?
It didn't have the typical atmosphere of a division game where
Right.
Titans, Jags, and the stadium was half, maybe 60% full.
Sure.
And it was interesting pregame. It was like, man, because I know what Brent kind of felt. It did not feel like there was a lot of juice on either sideline.
Right.
And I was worried, like, how are we going to come out?
Well, we didn't come
And
out good.
I'll give the Jags players credit. I mean, they did have some. They came out and had some juice.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Special
thought
defense.
I thought they played hard,
Yeah.
and I
That's
thought there was energy, and that was good. Because I was worried going into it. You always worry at the end of the year. You're
Right.
backup quarterback.
Right.
There's no playoffs. You're 2-10. I mean, you're on the road. It's dreary. It's like, okay, here we go. And in pregame, I was, on the sideline going, this does not have the same feel. And maybe that's me too, because like we're all human. You feel the same thing as, you're
Sure.
calling the game.
Sure.
And so it could have very well just been me, but you didn't sense that. But I'll give them credit. I really will. I'll give the coaching staff and all the players credit. They came out and they played with energy. They were physical and they got after it and they gave great effort. So that was good. I thought that was a real positive. And they got the win. It was ugly. Listen, let's not kid each other. It was not a well played game on a lot of levels, and it was really choppy and not a lot of production offensively. And maybe that's just it was great defense. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between good defense and bad offense, or vice versa. But they got a win. And this is the time of year when you're a team in our situation and the Titans where you're out of the playoffs, you're playing it out, and it's even different here in Jacksonville because in Tennessee they got a new staff, so they expected to kind of go through this, and they're in a building situation where for our organization and our team, we're in this situation with most people having high expectations. And it falling apart on you. And now you're looking going, man, we got to get to the finish line somehow. So those are tough situations. And you never know how a team is going to respond or how individuals, because it really comes down to the individual guy at this point, that each guy in that locker room has to kind of look at each other and say, okay, listen, we're professionals. We're going to do this the right way. We're not going to lay down. We're going to play hard. We're going to honor the game. We're going to honor each other. And I was happy to see that, in a tough place we haven't played very well, a lot of the history of this franchise, the guys came out and played hard.
All right. Kumbaya, my brother. We got the Jets at home coming up this week, and every Monday morning it's our pleasure to have the Hall of Famer, Tony Boselli. Appreciate
Love
you,
him.
Tone.
Thanks, Tone.
All right, guys. See you.
All right,
sir.
guys.